You're watching the Pix 11 News at 10.
And welcome back to the Pix 11 News at 10 on this busy primary election night. Let's get into what's happening in the races so far. I'm joined by our panel tonight, J.C. Polanco, professor at the University of Mount St. Vincent, Democratic strategist Nick Smith, and government relations specialist Yvette Buckner. So let's get right to the winners of the evening right now. I think the big winner is Zohran Mamdani. Of course, Claire Valdez winning, Brad Lander winning, Micah Lasher winning. We're still waiting for the all-important race of New York 13. And if that happens, if Daria Lisa pulls this off, it could be 3 for 3, Yvette, for Mayor Zohran Mamdani.
What a night.
Yeah.
This is huge. Most of the races were called by like 9:05, 9:10, 9:20. And so I think a year ago when Mayor Mamdani won for mayor, people said, is this a moment? And I think he has proven tonight it is not just a moment for him. This is a movement, and that the direction of the Democratic Party is shifting. The center of gravity is shifting more to the left, and that this is something that we're going to have to really pay very close attention to for 2028. This is just not just a referendum on incumbency if Daralicia Avilia Chevalier wins tonight.
Yeah.
It's also a referendum on the direction of the Democratic Party.
And that is the big question. And JC, you're bowing your head, and I don't know, are you ashamed of what's happening? I know you look like you're frustrated of what's happening.
It's been the toughest 2 weeks on Twitter X in my life. I'm going to disappear for 2 weeks. It's a huge night for Mayor Mamdani. He is officially the king of New York. And look, he has taken a party that has very low turnout. You're going to see that 87% of all Democrats in New York City stayed home and didn't even participate. There's going to be a lot of talk about opening primaries to independents like me so that we have a say, but that's neither here nor there. This is a great night for Mayor Mamdani. Tough night for institutionalists like myself. We look at this Adriano Espaillat, who has been a leader in the Latino community, chairman of the Hispanic Caucus in Congress.
Yes.
A 30-year incumbent in the Assembly, Senate, and Congress. If you take a look at exceptional Democrat, there's a picture of Adriano Espaillat. There's a picture of Dan Goldman, who led the charge against Donald Trump. And it didn't matter at the end of the day. That endorsement for Mayor Mamdani is gold, and the only reason that Claire Valdez, with less than a year in the Assembly and no bills, is going to Congress is because Mayor Mamdani made it happen.
Okay.
And I think that's a huge night for him tonight. Congratulations, Mayor Mamdani.
And so this was a litmus test. It was really a litmus test, Nick, for whether or not the mayor, who people criticize him for getting into these races overall, but it is the question right now. And the New York Post kind of alluded to this. I brought this up earlier in the reporting of, is there a shift in New York City politics towards a more progressive DSA kind of style of governing, and what that means for the Democratic Party as a whole as they head to the midterms?
I think the answer is yes, but there's a part two to this. So there is a shift towards the DSA kind of like plank, but also in terms of the national scope. The President Trump is the big boogeyman in all of this, right? So I think without Trump being in office, you don't have all these challengers either winning these seats or coming so close. So I think the lesson for the Democratic Party is we have to show fight and show results. And the reason why these challenges are overtaking these long-term incumbents who, as JC said earlier, are pretty good Democrats, is because they're not seeing a fight. And they're pissed and angry at what's happening federally. So that's kind of like dripping down into these local races. And it is true that the mayor himself is flexing his muscle.
And that's what the opponents did. That's what Daria Lisa did to Adriano. Said you didn't do enough to fight Trump in the district.
What do they want? That's the thing. So when I hear that, and I hear you guys, but what do you want from these Democrats that go in every day and under Hakeem Jeffries' leadership are fighting ICE to abolish it, are bringing resources back to their district? They're doing everything right.
But that's the problem.
No, they're doing everything right. What
is Nick's point?
These candidates, I mean, these elected officials are doing what we say we want, but they're not showing their work. You have to You have to show your work.
Show how, what do you mean?
Where is the drop in affordable housing prices? Cost of living is exploding. So they're voting well, but they're not speaking to the issues, and then people aren't seeing results.
Let Yvette get a word in.
And that's the one thing is that all Democrats, right, want affordability. All Democrats want health care and housing and good education for their kids. Where the difference is the strategy.
Yeah.
And the DSA are saying right here, right now, it's got to be radical. It's got to be meet the moment. It's got to be all of those things. And mainstream Democrats are saying, this is the tale of the hare and the turtle. And so, but right now, tonight, the turtle,
What about Dan? What about this? What about if they're just better organizers? What about if they're just better campaigners? What if they got better strategy with marketing and social media and everything else? Other than all these other things we're talking about, because I'll tell you this, all the Democrats you're mentioning are doing all of the above, but they're not as good organizers.
Gotta leave it there. Fiery group tonight. You guys are energized tonight, okay? That race in New York 13 hasn't officially been called yet. By the way, people are already hypothesizing that Dan Goldman is going to be a challenger in the mayoral race against Zohran Mamdani come 2029. We shall see. To be continued. Let these guys cool off. Shirley, back over to you.
All right. Thank you, Dan. Dan, it's been an exciting primary night. We thank you and also our panel for being with us tonight.